What is going on, guys? And welcome to For The Fans with me, Jack, and my co-host Ben. And today we're going to be looking at what was misery for England fans as Costa Rica got an unlikely victory against Italy. We'll also be looking at the French team that spanked Switzerland before looking at a surprisingly clean game between Ecuador and Honduras. Once we've wrapped all that up, we'll be looking forward to today's action, so let's get straight into this.
Day 10 is upon us. It's me and Jack without a guest today. Are you alright, Jack?
I'm not bad. I feel like a guest would have been a waste today given the football that was on show.
Well, maybe so. To replace the guest, we mentioned a couple of days ago about the competition. It's a score prediction competition. Get involved on Twitter and on YouTube. You have until half-time of the first game. Put your 3 scores in. The games today, let me get them out in front of me, are Argentina, Iran, Nigeria, Bosnia, and Germany versus Ghana. Get your score predictions in. If you get all 3 scores right, you win a choice of Adrian Charles' Too Good, Too Bad. Good prize, right, Jack?
That's a fantastic prize. Can I just say, I'd sell my wife for that one.
It is a World Cup edition, so...
Oh, I might have to sell a few my child as well.
The choice is between that and whatever DVD Jack is about to...
do I get to name a number and that gets put into the mix?
It might not. It may be a game, Jack. To be fair.
So wait, we're giving away 2 prizes in one show.
No, they get to pick between the prizes. I'm giving them an option. Otherwise, they would be stuck with Adrian Charles' Too Good.
So basically, they're going to pick whatever I now pick.
Well, I'm looking at the potential DVDs. That is a pretty good prize so far.
Okay, can I name a number?
Give me a number, Jack.
2.
They have the chance of it second hand. I was going to say it was in good condition until it came out of the case. It was bought from Woolworths.
Ooh, oh, that's an antique. If you don't know what Woolworths is, you've not lived.
Football quiz as well.
No way.
It is Destination Germany Kickoff 2006, featuring 32 qualifying teams, non-stop action, and the best goals.
That is a great prize. Now, what are you waiting for? Get your predictions in, tweet us them at ForTheFans Show, or leave them down in the comments. Right, Ben, let's kick off straight into this. Costa Rica giving Italy the boot. Do you get it? Because Italy's the shape of a boot. 1-0. 1-0 it was. We predicted an Italy win. I feel like my prediction was more out of hope as an England fan kind of clutching on straws than anything.
Yeah.
Costa Rica were blooming brilliant.
They're the best team in the world.
They are the best. It's official. It's official. Did you know, actually?
Is this a stat off the bat?
No, this isn't a stat off the bat. Don't you worry. I don't really like the FIFA World Rankings. I think they're pretty inaccurate. And someone's actually created a website, and I'll try and find it and stick it in the description of the video, or if you're on iTunes, you can find it on Twitter. But someone has created a system whereby if the football kind of top-ranked team was done like wrestling is, where you have to kind of defend your crown, you know, like in boxing, you hold on to your title. Costa Rica are the current world champion holders if you were to go back to the very first international and play it forward.
Really?
Uruguay were the previous holders, and they've just defended their crown. So they're like the big boys on campus right now. They are the world champions of the wrestling system of football.
Excellent.
Nations.
Well, send it off to FIFA, someone.
I know. So get this. I think this would be far more exciting if teams had to like take each other on for like a belt. You could have the cap. Let's just get rid of the World Cup. Let's just turn it into a World Series.
They would literally be the heavyweight champions of the world as well. Because they'd be the best international team.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm all for this.
Right, let's get someone ring up Sepp Blatter. He needs any help he can get with suggestions. So.
Anyway, the reason they are the best team in the world is because they beat Italy 1-0 and England are out, in summary. It wasn't actually that good of a game. Like, Brian Ruiz knocks a header in, and you're thinking... Shit. Mario was giving it his best, by which I mean he was kind of lounging around offside, very narrowly offside. I felt like the commentary team were being a little bit harsh. I think it was Savage. Oh no, it was Savage, wasn't it?
It was Robbie Savage. Can we get rid of him? Like, Mark Lawrenson and Robbie Savage, they just moan at the ref. Just get Danny Murphy on for any game. Danny, if you're listening to this, I love you, but please do more.
To be fair, Jack, we can't have it both ways. We don't want Phil Neville because he's boring. And we don't really want Savage because he's too lively. So Danny Murphy is the perfect complement to that. But would you rather Neville or Savage? What a conundrum.
I'd have them together, then I don't know what would happen, actually.
If you're not a British TV viewer, you won't know who we're talking about. If you are, you'll sympathise. So yeah, it wasn't the best of games. Italy didn't like. It was weird. Italy weren't like they're not through, and they didn't seem that bothered.
Yeah.
It was a bit weird.
Well, Uruguay have to beat them. If it's a draw, Italy do go through on goal difference. But if I'm Italy now, I mean, what a situation we could find ourselves in if both Italy and England were to go out of this group at this stage.
I can see it happening.
It honestly wouldn't surprise me. I think Suarez was really clinical, and I feel like, I don't know, Italy for me, I know you said that the offsides were narrow. There was just no cohesion in the final third from Italy.
No, it makes me feel like they got really lucky against England.
Maybe. Or maybe they were just so bad and England was slightly worse, but it made us feel better because it was like, oh, the Italians, that's a big name in football. What if Italy are just really bad and were worse?
Yeah, we didn't know. Oh, God, this could be really depressing. But Costa Rica, you know, they're in the final 16. They made it difficult for Italy. Pirlo looked uncomfortable, and I rarely do see that. Like, I was surprised at how uncomfortable he looked. Aside from that, they made some changes. Didn't really have any impact whatsoever. Balotelli had one chance, which I thought he should have finished in the first half when he could have lobbed the keeper, and he doesn't lob the keeper. And at that point, you're kind of like, it's not going to be our day, is it? It's really not going to be our day. So Costa Rica are through, and they should be drawn with against Colombia or the Ivory Coast. In fact, well, it'll depend. Or Japan. Sorry, Jack. Or Japan.
Yeah. Pirlo for me was very surprising in kind of how he played. He was just so quiet in the game. I'm looking at my stats here.
Oh.
I can tell you.
Jack attack.
Out of the 81 passes he completed, 47 were made to Barzagli, De Rossi and Chiellini. So now I know he doesn't pass forwards, but at the same time you kind of half expect Pirlo to look forward, particularly if you're chasing a game. He just didn't do that.
Well, you know, it sets up a very engaging and an exciting encounter with Uruguay. I don't think many people are going to care about England-Costa Rica now. I think the Italy-Uruguay game.
I am, because if England win, we're the world champions. Well,
there's actually there's far more to play with, and then we'll defend that for ages.
Exactly, because then we'll be playing Luxembourg in the European qualifiers, and we'll be fine.
So I'll tell you what, you've put so much pressure on this game now.
I know.
But as I say, Uruguay-Italy coming up in the next week. That'll be an exciting game. Shall we go to a game which was packed full of goals?
Shall we now?
I'm talking Switzerland 2, France 5.
I was going to be worried if you considered 3 goals in the other game, but packed full of goals. So I'm glad we've come on to France. What did we make of France? Because
I'm really impressed.
I was excited. I've actually got a bet on France to win. 22 to 1 for them to win the World Cup.
Oh.
And I felt quite good about that one.
I thought Switzerland would be a lot better. I think I predicted 2-2 in our show. And if technically both teams did score 2 goals. So
that's true.
That's points, right?
Although France scored an extra 3.
The thing I like about it, well, yeah, that did happen. Benzema tried his best to not let that happen, as did the ref. But I really like the way. I'm going to slag off England again here. Sorry, Roy. You thought this was over, didn't you? But it's more in credit of Deschamps. Didier Deschamps. I've forgotten how to say his name.
The French geezer.
No, Didier Deschamps. He used to play for Chelsea. He won the World Cup. He didn't pick Nazari because he didn't fit his system. Imagine if we did that. Imagine how good we'd be. It's just, whatever. But I like the way that the French just categorically were like, you don't fit. We've got our system. This is the system that works for us. And look how effective it is. They blitzed, was it Honduras they played?
Yeah, they played Honduras and won 3-0.
They blitzed Honduras and they were 5-0 up against Switzerland before
Could have been
Switzerland
6 because missed a penalty as well.
Indeed.
And then missed the rebound as well. Can we just talk about that?
Cabaye.
Was it Cabaye? Yeah, it was Cabaye. Benzema with the penalty. It wasn't the best penalty, but Cabaye, you've got to finish that, son.
Yeah, so Giroud scored first. Good header, actually. Decent header.
It was a good win, wasn't it?
And then Matuidi scores a minute later.
What? Can we just talk about the keeper on that goal? Where was he? Now, I know
he was in I saw him in the goal.
It was a FIFA-esque goal, the way from kick-off, kind of. They took the kick-off, Switzerland passed it back to the centre mid, who then kind of dallies on the ball. Benzema just picks it up and just runs.
Yeah.
And then
it was
Matuidi, for a defensive midfielder, he must just be like, what's happened here? There's just half a goal open for me. The Swiss keeper just kind of looked very confused.
Then Valbuena got one, Benzema got one, and Sissoko finished him off. And then finally, Switzerland were like, we actually have started. But at that point, it was the 81st minute, and that was kind of game over. They were really disappointing. I thought they were going to give France a really tough game.
No, I did too.
But no, I was really disappointed. I thought, and then again, when you've got Johan Giroud and Sendros at the back.
Yeah.
You know. little sympathy for Switzerland in that.
It was impressive by France how they went about it, and I felt like when they had their chance, particularly the Sissoko one, I can't think of any England players who would have buried that chance. I can't think of anyone in England's side who would have done what Benzema did in laying him off. But that kind of composure there, that coolness in front of goal was just something that we lacked.
Yeah, they look like a team. They look like a really good team.
Yeah.
And they've not, although we said pre-tournament really, they've not got any real big stars. Like Benzema and Pogba have had good seasons, but they're not headliners.
They're not your Henry, are they?
At this
or your Zidane?
No, I think we mentioned that in the pre-show. But I think that's helping them. I think there's not pressure on any of them. It's the first time Benzema's really come alive at an international tournament, and if he keeps this up, Golden Boot's his. I think Muller might rival him, but he's playing terrifically well. How far do you think they can go? You've said you've put a bet on them to win it. Do you genuinely think they can?
Yeah. I think they've got enough strength about them, and we talked about this in the preview, but I just feel like France have an unmatched strength across their side, and they've got the ability to really mix things up and change your style of play very quickly and effectively. They've got players to bring on. I know you talked about the fact Nasri doesn't fit their system per se. I actually think it's more to do with the fact that Valbuena is just a better player occupying Nasri's position. For me, France, very well organised. I think they can go far, and I think they're the kind of team who aren't afraid to stick two strikers on and really make it work.
No, it's interesting that they deployed Benzema on the left of a three. As you mentioned, Valbuena was excellent. He's a very good player. The fact they put Benzema on the left was interesting to me. That obviously it worked, so you can't really criticise. It's interesting to see how they're adapting without Ribéry as well.
I was disappointed about the goal that got disallowed right at the end. It was that was like, why is the ref blowing then?
You're annoyed. He's in my fantasy draft team. Yeah.
I was quite happy with the Pogba assist because he's in my team.
Yeah, missed the penalty and all sorts. Annoying.
So we transition over?
Yeah, to the other game in the group.
Group E. So, on the back of this 2-1 Ecuador win, there is now the situation...
No. It was 3-2.
Oh, 3-2 in cards, Ben.
We were going by cards.
We were, weren't we? We never actually established a scoring system. But Ecuador won regardless. They won in our yellow cards competition.
Yeah, they did. 3-2.
But now this group's still really open. It's kind of bizarre how it's all come about because you've got three teams basically battling for that last slot. The current kind of system is that Honduras have to beat Switzerland by 2 clear goals and hope Ecuador lose to France. For Honduras to qualify. That can happen. We said that about England yesterday, and it didn't happen. So I'm a bit.
I sit back, and you and Ross were like, "Yeah, we can still do this. It's not over until it's over."
I would like to point out at the end. I was just like, "It's probably not going to happen."
By 7 o'clock, it was over.
It was.
But no, Carlo Costly, great name by the way, Carlo Costly, put Honduras in the lead with an Andy Carroll-esque finish.
It was an Andy Carroll-esque game. This one, wasn't it? Really?
It was a little bit, yeah. And to be honest. It's weird to say they deserve their lead because Honduras aren't actually that good, but they deserve the lead. It was quite an even game. Eventually, Ecuador fought their way back into it. Poacher's finish from Valencia. There's a deflection, not the Valencia. This is Enner Valencia, who everyone's now raving about. He scored like 6 in 7 or something, or 7 in 6. So he put him in the lead, deflection, but he nods it in. He's there at the right time, Rooney-esque. Very English game this overall. And then Ecuador were denied a penalty. You didn't see the game, did you? But did you see that incident?
I have. Yeah,
think it was a pen.
I want to say I've seen it given, but I don't want to be playing World Cup bingo with the viewers. So
that's fair though. That's a fair analysis.
Like it's one of those ones where on another day you get it given. I feel like there was also the one in the Costa Rica game that should have been given debatably for Costa Rica just before they scored.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that.
When he gets wiped out by Chiellini.
Yeah, we kind of didn't mention that, but I don't want to say it's like that one, but it's kind of in a similar vein in the sense that whilst neither of them was given, they could both have been given. Yeah.
And then Valencia grabs the header from a second, free kick comes over, and he nods it in. Poor marking, but it's still a decent finish, and that gave Ecuador a 2-1 lead. As we sort of touched on earlier, sets up a very interesting final day in that group. The Switzerland team will be taking on Honduras, and as you mentioned, there's some way that they can both go through, as well as Ecuador and France. And if Ecuador beat France, then I think they go through.
Yeah.
So
it's all very confusing. It's all ifs and buts. Just wait until you're watching the match next week, and it has the table up for you. My favourite stat from this game was the fact that in the first 13 minutes. The pass completion by both teams was 57% combined.
That's FIFA-esque when you don't know what you're doing.
That is terrible, isn't it? 57% passing. But I think that kind of epitomised the game. As you mentioned, I missed this game. I caught some of the highlights.
Yeah.
It looked like two teams playing in the park where neither could really be able to run at the back. You know, the defences were like, can't be bothered, right? Boot it up. Yeah. They got a few fast men up there. But no, it wasn't a fine display of football in action. By the end of the game, I must be honest, the pass completion did improve slowly. I wish I could find it for you. It did improve. I didn't mean to put you under pressure. It's fine. All I'm going to say is it did get better.
Okay.
I mean, by the second half, Ecuador's pass completion was almost at 90%.
God,
they came out a new team.
Get a drugs test done. Actually, have you heard about that? The Costa Rica thing?
No, tell me more.
After Costa Rica beat Italy, FIFA wanted 7 players from Costa Rica for a drugs test.
Ooh, controversial.
That's a lot, isn't it? Yeah, they're fine, but yeah, they ordered them for a drugs test. They were all fine though.
Well, that's a shame. I was hoping England could somehow get through in shady English style.
Argentina play today, Jack, and this brings us to the Twitter question of the day. Are you ready for this?
Excellent stuff. I'm ready for this. I've seen the question of the day.
Okay, so Lionel Messi, Argentine, is arguably, remember that folks, arguably, I'm not saying he is, the best footballer in the world. If you could be the best in the world at something, what would it be and why? Do you have an answer, or do you want me to come back to you?
Come back to me.
Okay, so we've got quite a few answers. Some of them are very good, actually. Shrunaldo said, I'd like to be the best at answering internet questions, just so I could think of something which I could reply to your question with. Yeah, good point.
Surely he doesn't need to wish because he's already got that.
Well, he's got it. He got it read out and everything.
First one as well, so.
Former guest Shifty replied. Yeah, I know, right?
I remember that guy.
I'd be Ronaldo so I could really be the best. Very bitter. Very bitter. He's still annoyed about the quiz. Jay said sprinting, without a doubt. So he's very final on that. Cobbers, probably my favourite answer. Just wrote baking.
I'd love bake. If I could be the world's best baker, like, I guess that you get hassled by people, like, can you make me a cake? You know, like, if you ever go to family meetups, I don't know if your mum's, like, renowned as a bit of a cook, but my mum's quite known for a pavlova. Whenever we go to an event, she is asked to cook a pavlova, and it's kind of like, if you were the world's best baker, people just hassle you.
I see. A couple more. I would want to be the world's best son, so my parents might actually love me, said Lee.
It's a bit sad, isn't it?
It is a bit. That's not even the one I'm going to end on. I'm going to end on the one that said from Dan the Man, who said, I would be the guy in the England Mars adverts so I could get England to score. Does
that make him the best? So I'd be the best guy in the England Mars adverts.
Actually, there's one more. James Smith said drawing, because it would be epic to be able to draw anything you want. You can do that now.
I assume he mean when he says drawing, he doesn't mean as in drawing in football matches.
Oh, no, I don't think he does. I think he means artistically. Okay, well, thank you for your answers. If you want to get involved, around midday, 11:30-ish, we pose the Twitter question, and as you can see, we read some of the best answers out on the show. Also, remember, I'll mention it again, get your score predictions in. You've got a chance to win Adrian Charles' Too Good, Too Bad, the World Cup edition.
Why would you not want that? Why would you not want that?
Or if you'd rather have Destination Germany Kickoff 2006, you can have that too. I didn't mention it earlier, that please be from the UK because the postage costs get ridiculous as soon as you are overseas. So feel free to take part if you're not, but it helps if you're from the UK.
If you get it right, you get a shout out. That's what we'll give you. We'll give you a special applause and stuff if you get it right.
We'll name a show after you.
I want to say we'd give a minute silence, but that's not very entertaining in a podcast. Well, in a podcast, that's not going to be particularly good, is it?
Not really. So let's get on to today's games.
You didn't ask me what I'd be the best at.
Jack, what would you be the best at?
Remembering to ask Jack what his answer is.
Twitter question, that's done now. Argentina versus Iran, the first game of the day, I believe it is. Messi's got another game to show that he's the world's best.
Is this really going to prove anything, though, if he beats Iran?
Iran did well against Nigeria.
I feel like Iran watching the last game was like watching, Argentina v Bosnia was basically like watching two bullies fight it out to decide which gets to give them a wedgie.
Yeah, well, they could give them one mighty puller-upper of the backside clothing. I don't know what I've done there.
I don't know what you've done either, but let's continue.
But apparently the country of Argentina aren't particularly pleased with their result against Bosnia, despite winning the game. And the coach has reacted, and he said that he may change up the formation. He may bring Higuain in, who is one of their top scorers in qualifying, and go with a 4-3-3. Dropping Aguero is the likely situation, playing Di Maria and Messi either side of him. What do you make of that?
If I'm Argentina, I'd be playing 2-3-5.
2-3-5. Okay.
I just think that would work.
What with
We're going back to the 1890s.
And then you'd have Aguero, Higuain and Messi.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they'd still have no midfield, so it didn't really matter.
No, exactly. Well, you'd have Mascherano. He could tuck in between the centre-backs if you really wanted to play 3-2-5.
I've got a stat on Mascherano.
Have you now? Hit me.
It'll be his 100th cap.
Oh, that's a bit disappointing.
What do you mean? That's amazing. That's incredible. Hats off to Javier Mascherano.
That's not even a stat. That's just a fact.
It's not a stat.
That's a fact.
It's a stat.
No, it's not. A fact is a truth. A stat is an unlikely statistical factor.
You're talking shit, Jack. Sorry, Mrs. Jack. I did a swear.
You swore earlier as well. I'm not editing this episode. I'm going to mark this one as explicit. You used the S word again, Ben. I'm very disappointed in you.
Did I? Mrs. Jack, if you are listening, or if you're a listener from BBC Radio Manchester, I'm ever so sorry. We're not on today, though. So where do you think it's going to go? Do you think Iran are going to shock the world again?
I've got to be honest, okay? I predicted spankings for Australia and they only lose 3-2. I predict spankings for Costa Rica and they win 1-0. So as far as I'm concerned, Iran may well get a point here.
So what's your prediction? They're likely to name the same starting 11.
5-0 Argentina.
Okay, I'm going 7-0. Nigeria, we're talking about Nigeria and Bosnia. They're the other two teams in the group. Both teams obviously got disappointing results. Nigeria, you probably expected to beat Iran, and Bosnia weren't really at the races against quite a poor Argentina side on the night. So it should be quite an interesting game, Jack. Who are you looking for to step up in this game? I think there's one man who I'm definitely focusing on.
I'm looking at my main man, the guy who I picked in my little fantasy draft team. He was my first pick. There was the likes of Aguero and Messi available to me. No, I went with Dzeko.
You did, yeah.
And he's done bugger all last game. So you, Mr. Dzeko, turn up this next game, please.
Pressure's on him.
You're playing against Nigeria. I mean, I could see Odunwingie and Shola Obi grabbing a hat-trick each. So.
Well, we'll come on to that then. Nigeria are likely to bring in some Premier League experience because that's what's evidently needed at World Cups. Joseph Yobo is likely to replace Godfrey Obama-Bonner.
What a name.
I think I pronounced that quite well, actually. And Odunwingie is set to come in because Nigeria apparently lacked creativity and he's the man to fix that, said the coach.
So, Bonner sounds like a musical instrument. Just playing
and he's called Godfrey. Godfrey's a great name.
That's I think that might be my favourite name at the World Cup so far. Let us know in the comments or on Twitter what's your favourite player name at the World Cup.
Well, we'll do that. That's tomorrow's question. So
fantastic idea. You've got 24 hours to get it in.
Yeah, so get your suggestions ready. We'll do it tomorrow. So where do you see this one going then? I would like Bosnia to win. I never do my score prediction first. So I'm going to say I think it'll be a Bosnia 2-1.
Ooh.
Because they're quite creative and Nigeria are quite powerful. They've got a lot of kind of quick. They've got a lot of. I hate to be like stereotypical, but African sides are known for being quite robust and quite physical, whereas Bosnia, that sort of European side, are known for being a little bit trickier, like Croatia. Do you know what I'm saying? So
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, Nigeria v Iran was so underwhelming. Bosnia didn't look particularly. Well, that might explain your prediction.
It's one of the two games I've not watched.
The fact that you suggested Nigeria will get a goal after the first game suggests to me you didn't watch the first game.
No, I didn't watch the first game.
I'm going to go with Bosnia 2-0. I just don't think Nigeria have a lot about them in the midfield, and I think that's going to cost them going forward.
I wasn't expecting to do this, but Ellie has just come in the room.
Ask her what her score prediction is.
Yeah, what's your score prediction for Nigeria versus Bosnia? 2-1 to who? Bosnia. Who was it again?
She just names and numbers. I should explain for new viewers. Nigeria. Ellie is Ben's girlfriend.
Yeah, it is.
No, that's too difficult to say.
So what score prediction?
She'll make a decision eventually.
We are friends. Ellie, this is going in the recording. Please, come on.
2-1 Croatia.
2-1 Croatia, she said.
The 2-1 Croatia in Nigeria v Bosnia. Right, last game, Germany v Ghana.
Bosnia, Nigeria.
Oh, no,
it's too late now, you've blown
it's too late. Right, next game, the Battle of the Gs. Who is going to be the top G dog?
If Croatia win that game, I'll give away all the prizes to anyone that predicts Croatia as well.
Excellent.
I thought you said Croatia.
You've had your moment and you blew it. Shut up. Sorry, Jack. I keep this in.
Just taking my show away from me.
Final game is Germany versus Ghana. The only injury out for the Germans is Matt Hummels, who's got a bruised leg, a bruised thigh, bless him.
Oh, that's
the other team news is that Essien will probably start alongside Kevin Prince Boateng, who'll be playing as his brother Jerome.
Is Kevin Prince Boateng actually like a prince, or is that like a Michael Jackson-esque middle name?
I don't think he's an actual prince. No,
I want to think that's another great name at the World Cup. But I want to think he's a prince, and his brother like fled to Germany because he was scared of his brother's reign as king.
Yeah.
Fairy tales in the Germany-Ghana game, quite literally.
If he is a prince, how bad does Jerome Boateng feel every single like family get together?
Well, I want to know what his middle name is. He better have a good middle name, or I feel sorry for him.
And that's why he's not taking it on.
That may well be it.
Princess. Maybe it's Princess Jerome Princess Boateng. They really wanted to be a girl, and they just went full throttle with it.
It all makes sense.
Yeah.
What do we think of this one? I think for me, Germany looked superb against Portugal. I feel as if Ghana was pretty underwhelming in their first game, despite all the hype behind them. I can see Germany getting another 4, to be honest.
Yeah, the failings of other teams in this World Cup have kind of taken the limelight off Germany. I don't know if it's because they're playing later, like in the tournament. It feels like the last Germany game was 3 weeks ago. Do you know what I mean? It feels like they're just doing their bit and they're doing it well, and then they'll be in the semi-finals.
It's really weird to think though as well. I know you were saying about like Germany not getting much of the spotlight. They've still only played one game. Like,
I know, it feels weird.
It feels very bizarre when you're talking about some of the stories. Like, who would have thought that we'd be sat here in show 10 talking about the fact Spain and England are out and Germany have only played one game, which they beat against Portugal 4-0.
Yeah,
it's been a weird World Cup.
They, like the two teams that are standing out for me, because the Netherlands like kind of slipped up a little bit against the Aussies. Who would have thought? The French and the Germans are the only two real convincing sides in this tournament. Like even Brazil, not entirely convincing. So really, it's France, Costa Rica, and Germany.
It's kind of weird because you think about the teams who've played convincingly well. Germany and France are there, and then besides them, the teams who are performing well aren't the big teams. And it's a case of, is this them showing their true colours, or is it them playing to the occasion? I think in most cases it's safe to agree that a team like Costa Rica are playing to the occasion rather than them having a team full of superstars.
Yeah.
But I feel as if Germany and France are a few of the few teams who are actually kind of living up to that World Cup pressure and have put in good performances every time so far.
Yeah, I agree. So where do you see the score going then?
I said before, Germany 4-0. Ghana, just no cutting edge about them in the midfield. You mentioned Kevin Prince Boateng and Essien linking up there. Maybe offered them something slightly different, but for me, I think Germany are just too strong. I feel like Muller. Can we just talk about Muller? Because obviously Muller's been Germany's standout player, but it's kind of odd because what is Muller's position?
He doesn't
have one. He's just a really good footballer.
Yeah, but he's quite an arrogant footballer. He's the most arrogant player at the World Cup.
There's but I feel like I like an arrogant soul once in a while. I feel like arrogant and kind of cocky. You need a character like that. I think if you've scored as many goals as he has in the World Cups at his age, you have a right to be arrogant.
All right, fair enough. You and Muller can go out for dinner or something.
Yeah, we'll take him round the corner.
I think Ghana looked a lot better when Boateng came on the other night.
Yeah.
So I think they might actually like shock the tournament, take a lead, and then Germany will win 5-1.
The world.
I'm going for big scores. There's been a lot of big scores in this tournament and a lot of goals, so I'm going with 5-1 Germany, but Ghana to take the lead. How's that?
Well, wait, I've got to be honest. When you predicted Suarez to take the lead and England to win 3-1, when Suarez scored, I'm like, it's been a Time Lord. Has he gone forward and come back?
And then Suarez
you haven't, have you?
No, I haven't. I can confirm to anyone wondering out there, I'm not a Time Lord. So that kind of brings us to the end. Remember, get your score predictions in. You've got a chance between two DVDs, an Adrian Childs one or a Destination Germany from 2006 with a Wolves football quiz included, untouched, unwatched.
That quiz is like, it's the prize, basically.
The quiz is in the case. It's like, do you want a question from the quiz?
Go on then, why not? How outdated are these quiz questions going to be? I've got to be honest, the thing I'm looking forward to most in this World Cup is seeing if England can take the heavyweight title of the world, because we're going to go out, so we're basically going to steal it off Croatia then run away with it.
Who was the leading goal scorer
Costa Rica
in the 1998 World Cup, Jack?
1998 World Cup leading goal scorer.
Was it
Ronaldo?
Ronaldo, B Henry, C Dawosuke, or D Michael Owen?
Ronaldo.
That's Dawosuke.
Oh.
Do you want another one? We haven't got a quiz today, so this is the quiz.
This is the quiz.
Who captained England in the 1986 World Cup? Was it Glenn Hoddle, Gary Lineker, Brian Robson, or Wilkins? I've forgotten his first name.
What year was it?
1986.
What were the options?
Hoddle, Lineker, Robson, Wilkins. People at home have got it before you have. Come on.
It's either the first one or the third one.
So it's Hoddle or Robson?
I think so.
Or, that's not really an answer, is it? Gamble.
First one.
No, it's Brian Robson.
Fuck this. I knew that.
Should we do one final one?
Right, chat, let us know how many of these you knew.
Right, ready for the final one?
I'm bracing myself.
Which team won the World Cup in 1974? Was it Holland, West Germany, Brazil, or Italy?
I want to say West Germany because I
Correct.
remember. Can I tell you why I know that?
Sure.
Because when you go on Football Manager and look at the past tournament winners, I remember West Germany winning it in that year on
Well
the history
done.
of past winners.
Well done, Jack. You got 1 point.
I wish I could get my photographic memory to work when I actually need it to work, as opposed to remembering World Cup winners based off Football Manager.
So because we gambled your score there, you actually got a -1, so you're now down to 5 in the quiz.
How does this even work?
I don't know. I've made it up.
Right.
That kind of brings us to the end of today's show. It was a little bit bedraggled and a little bit all over the place, but I think it was actually quite good. This is either our best show or our worst show.
I'm not sure, really. I feel as if it was the worst show in terms of what we actually had to talk about. But I think what we've done there is we've milked every last drop of milk out of the cow that is the World Cup today.
And
we even had Ellie turn up. Extra pair of
Ellie,
hands.
do you want to say bye to the listeners?
She doesn't.
She just shook her head in disgust.
She's not happy.
No, she's doing research on Croatia, I think. So from me, Ben, and Jack, do you want to quickly do the social media?
Oh, yeah. Follow us on Twitter at ForTheFans. Check us out on the interwebs at www.forthefansshow.com.
Actually, can I quickly say, if you're listening on iTunes or YouTube, can you tweet us and let us know which one you're doing it on? Just tweet us YouTube or iTunes. I just want to see where the more listeners are coming from.
If you're not on Twitter, just make a Twitter account.
Then
if you're on
Jack, his number is 07. No, I'm kidding. you went
whoa,
so quiet
whoa.
there.
Right. That's us done though. So tweet us what you're watching on. If you've got to this point, all the non-loyal listeners won't do that, so we'll be able to single them out, Ben.
This is the best bit. Yeah, actually, so anyone that doesn't tweet us will know. Cool.
So should we treat the viewers who have watched to the end with a little thing?
Maybe we should say if you're up to this point, you've got to tweet us a word rather than saying whether it was iTunes or YouTube. Just a code word. What should we go with?
Yogurt.
No, not yogurt.
How you gonna know?
Croatia. I want the word Croatia.
Code word Croatia. Get it tweeted at us. This has been a slightly disjointed show. It's been a Saturday. I've been down to the cafe and had a bacon and egg sandwich thing. I've been Jack. He's been Ben.
Yep.
Are we going now? I don't really know where this is
I just wanted to say what I'd had for breakfast.
Oh, what did you have, Ben?
I had some Cocoa Pops.
What an insight. Thank you for watching, guys. Slightly unprofessional. We'll see you tomorrow with a slightly more regular show, I hope.
Thank you for listening. Bye.